Today we're going to talk about the blind exchange in the relay race. We're going to use this little ace grips as a baton. We're not a track family, obviously, as you can tell. But the blind exchange is typically done in the 4x100 relay. You have the outgoing runner who's going to be the one receiving the baton, and the incoming runner who's going to be passing the baton off. The outgoing runner, he's going to take off when the incoming runner gets to a specific mark, which is called the go mark, or take off, if you want to use like a verbal cue from a coach that's standing there. But the outgoing runner, he's going to pick which part of the lane he's in, either the inner half or the outer half of the lane, depending on which hand he has back to receive the baton. If it's his left hand's back, he's going to be on the outer half of the lane. If it's the right hand back, he's going to be on the inner half of the lane. That way it makes an easier exchange. The baton pass it's going to be the sole responsibility of the incoming runner, as the outgoing runner is blind to the pass. He's going to have his hand back, and he's just going to be sprinting forward, because that's how he's going to take off, is from a dead sprint. I'm not going to sprint tonight. I have a torn meniscus, but my son is going to be the one passing me the baton. And I wish we had a place to set up like a little lane so you could see if I was on the inner half or the outer half of the lane. But this is how it goes. When you hit here is when I'm going to start moving. And I'm going to go left hand back, so I'm going to be on the outer half. Yeah, you got to set it in my hand. All right, so we screwed up on that one. I screwed up. I let my son get right up on top of me before I took off. I didn't take off at the go mark. We're going to redo that pass. Now, I had my left hand back to receive it, so I was on the outer half of my lane. And then after I received the baton, you then want to get into the middle part, because the middle of the lane is the optimal carry position for the baton. All right, so the next pass we're going to work on is the up sweep. It's typically for your less experienced runners, but it's a very, very good pass still to do. The outgoing runner is going to take his or her hand is going to place it, make a V between the thumb and forefingers, and they're going to have their hand back like this. The incoming runner is then going to have the baton, and all they're going to do as they approach the outgoing runner is just, with a loose grip, just going to pass the baton up into the V of the thumb and the pointer finger. The outgoing runner is going to receive it, and as they're sprinting and moving it, they've got to then work that baton back up into their hand. That way the free end of the baton's not below the hand, it's above, to make the baton available to pass to the next runner. And we're going to start closer. The next exchange is the push pass exchange. The receiver of the baton, outgoing person, they're gonna extend their hand back, but then flex the palm to where the incoming runner can see the flat palm. And all they're gonna do then is just push the baton into the hand. This allows both runners to stay in a more upright, tall position to maintain their sprint. That will inhibit, them losing momentum, losing their speed as they're running. It's a more natural exchange. So we're going to do this, but this time we're going to do it without us moving, so you can actually see the exchange taking place. You just line up behind me here. And that's how that exchange goes. You know, it's a very, very effective exchange. You know, like I said, it allows the runners to stay more tall, or to stand taller, instead of having to, sorry about that, instead of having to get low. It doesn't affect the rhythm as much. The last exchange we're going to talk about is the visual exchange. This is typically done when it's like a 4x400. You know, you have to have a visual. You want to have a visual exchange, as there's going to be more fatigue from the runners. Running the 400 meters. You know, they're going to be more tired, more winded. You know, so the outgoing runner is going to extend their hand, but they want to try to keep it up at a shoulder level and standing as tall as possible. You know, palm extended out, flat. You know. But as the incoming runner hits the go mark, the outgoing runner is going to take 3 hard strides into the exchange zone, and then going to turn around and look, you know, at the incoming runner, so as to be able to get the visual of the exchange. You know, but the incoming runner doesn't want to slow down. You know, they want to keep pressing forward through the run, so that way the outgoing runner is not losing any momentum either. Like I said, we're going to do this in slow-mo again, so here we go. The one thing I forgot to do after I took my 3 hard steps was to turn around and look back, you know, but I did forget to do that, so I apologize, but that's how you do the exchanges.